It's Jill for today. I'm in the kitchen and I'm going to fix something kind of special today. The title of this is Commune Stew. And many years ago when I was 18, I was married before the director, if you can possibly believe that. I was a child, but I was 18 and I was, you know, the Northern California hippie. I mean, that's the whole thing. And my husband at that time and two other friends, we all decided that we wanted to live on a commune. And there was property up in Oregon, and we were in the Bay Area. So not Halloween, but Thanksgiving weekend, long weekend, we drove up in our vans, our little Volkswagen vans, and we found this commune that we'd gotten some directions to and some information about. So we went and we spent the weekend, and during that weekend we had commune stew. And I thought this would be really kind of a cool thing to tell you about, and I'll show you the recipe. I've updated it just a little bit. It went into a big pot because they didn't have any kind of oven to prepare this big quantity that we were going to have. So, but I've updated it. I'm going to roast the vegetables in the oven. I think that would be, you know, like I said, kind of an updated and something maybe a little more enjoyable. So, having said all that, we can get started. And if you want to come down, I've got just a selection of things here. I've got onion and turnip and carrot and some potato and beet and rutabaga. And here's the turnip. Okay, so anyway, so we had all these vegetables. What happened was we were there and people were really nice. There were about 10 different families, and every family had a 5-acre parcel of land. So we were going up to buy a 5-acre parcel of land. So we got in our vans and we drove up through the redwoods, and it was a beautiful, beautiful drive. It rained a little bit, but the mist in the trees, it was just so beautiful. So we went there and met the people. They were all really nice, and we took a tour of all the property and talked to different people about, you know, what it was like to live there. There was no electricity. They had some sort of a jury-rigged electricity system, but most of it was propane or kerosene light, you know, like a Coleman lantern. There were a lot of those. They had a wood-burning stove, and that was what most of them used in their own little homes. But there was a community house, if you will, and I think it was probably like an old outbuilding on this property that people had used, I suspect, many years ago. So we walked around the property and met everybody and saw their houses. Everyone had such interesting homes. There were people in yurts and people who had built crazy little houses out of spare wood. There was this community house that they had, or community building, and they were going to host a dinner for us that night. And it was amazing. All the women, and as I said, there were, I think, maybe 10 families. They all came to this community room and they all brought stuff. They brought carrots, they brought potatoes, they brought onions and cabbage, and oh my goodness, it was just amazing. All these people had saved all this produce that they had grown, root vegetables, really, that's what it was. And so we got a bucket of water and we cleaned all the vegetables. And we talked and talked about all kinds of different things. We drank tea, and we sat there and we cut up the vegetables. It was very zen. And
was it a vegan or vegetarian community?
At least vegetarian, yeah. We did not see any meat while we were there. And we had 2 meals with them. This one, and then someone had made a large soup that they brought. So anyway, we just, you know, we sat there and we chopped vegetables and we chatted about stuff. So anyway, we got together and had this big dinner, and they brought home baked bread, and we sat around on the floor. We all had just a little place on the floor around the perimeter of the shack, and there was, like I said, kerosene lights. It was neat. And so we ate this stew and we talked about life, and we passed the pipe, if you will, did some of that, and anyway, it was an amazing weekend, and we left there, you know, on Sunday after Thanksgiving, and we all decided it was a really great, great place, but there was just something we all felt it wasn't quite what we were looking for. So we ended up not buying property there, and we were all very disappointed because that was something we really wanted to do, but it wasn't right. You know how you sometimes just kind of get a sense that I just didn't have the right vibe. I don't. And I can't even remember how much it cost. It had to have been pretty reasonable, or we wouldn't have been able to afford it. So, but you know, I have a saying in my life that we are where we are because of where we have been. And had I done that and gone into that commune, whether I would be there to this day is a good question, but I would have never met the director. And so, you know, looking back after all those years and, you know, seeing that great experience, which it was, but, you know, it wasn't right, and there was a reason it wasn't right, and that was because there was someone else out there waiting for me, wasn't there?
Absolutely.
So, anyway, that's my story, and I'm going to stick to it. So, anyway, what I'm going to do here with this is I'm going to give it a spray of olive oil, and then I'm going to only use half of that, I think. And then salt and pepper. This is a beet, which is the last one I did because, as you can tell, we're going to have beet juice everywhere. Anyway, salt and pepper, and I'm going to roast it in a probably 375-degree oven until the vegetables are roasted tender for us, and that's probably going to be about 45 minutes, I would suspect. And then what we could do is I'll bring you back and we'll show you how they look and how they taste. And this is actually the first time, isn't it, I think, that I've made this, don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, I've done roasted vegetables before, but not quite this varied, I guess. And as I said, the root vegetables that they all brought, and they had little, it was so cool, they had little baskets, and they brought the baskets to the community room, and it was like a treat. What did someone bring? What did they bring? What did they bring? You know, and it was harmony. I mean, it was perfect. It was a perfect weekend. We're going to sprinkle some salt on this. And I won't get my hand here, a little wipe. We're going to do some fresh ground pepper. I'm going to give it a toss. Get those out of there. And they didn't have pads back then. Teflon, the silicone pads. So things have changed. We've come a long way, baby. All right. I think that looks pretty good. What do you think, Director?
Looks good.
Mm-hmm. Well, I put your favorite vegetable in there. There's parsnip in there.
Parsnips.
Okay, everybody. So I'm going to go ahead, as I said, put this in a 375-degree oven, probably 40 minutes, a little bit here and there, and then we'll bring you back and have a taste. We're back for a taste test, but I think I need to do a little clarification here. You know, here, by the way, here are the vegetables. And see, they're just all wonderful. Now, see, when I started talking about this recipe, the director thought that these vegetables were going to go into the stew. And he said, well, there's not a lot of vegetables there for the stew. This is the stew. Maybe it should be called commune vegetables. At the time I ate it, it was stew, and it was delicious, and it was exciting, and it's just really vegetable.
I think it was stew as having some sort of sauce or juice or something.
Well, in the pot we had liquid, but what we ate the vegetables.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. They're good. They're good. It's all kinds of stuff in here. There's beets and carrots and potatoes, and I think I'm gonna take a little bit of that. That's turnip. It's so earthy. It's just earthy. Okay. I liked it. I liked it. Maybe it was the era. Do you want to try?
I want to try it,
You want
sure.
to try? Just grab something out of there. Tell me what you taste.
Well, I could
He's
go
gonna
for
say
a
it's a
sure
root
thing.
vegetable.
Uh-huh.
He's going for, what are you going for, a potato? You know what it is?
Tastes like a potato that's been dating a beet.
You know what I think it is? I think it was the romance of it, right? I mean, I've done, he's eating away though, he must like them.
I'm eating a beet now.
You know, I roast vegetables all the time, but I hadn't thought about this dish like in about 40 years, and I said, oh my goodness, I should do this. He's liking it.
Parsnip.
And
I should tell him my parsnip story.
Go ahead. Oh no! Wait till a signature glass of wine.
Okay.
We'll do that on signature glass
All
of
right.
wine day. Anyway, I hope that I didn't drag you through this video and you said, "What? Oh, how nice a blender!" It was fun me telling the story. It was fun me putting all those crazy vegetables together, and that's it. That's it. There's not even a recipe. Although I will say, it took a lot longer than 40 minutes. I think I cooked them almost an hour and 15 minutes. That, you know what it was? It was the rutabaga and the turnip. Tough.
Rutabaga. That's an old car, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for what is the word you want when you say just kind of humoring me? Thanks for humoring me. And
You spit at them.
it was a piece of turnip, I think. Anyway, thanks a lot, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.